Hi everyone, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So today I'm doing my very first CraftStash Christmas blog hop and giveaway. So for each day over the next 7, 8, 9 days, I think it is. So yeah, I think there's about 9 of us doing this. So it's the co-branders, the design team, and there'll be a different tutorial. I think there's going to be techniques, something different in each video, and you'll be able to see the order that you can go and watch next, and it will all be linked in the description box below, as well as how to enter the giveaways, following the CraftStash hop. You've got to make sure you're subscribed to everybody, make sure you like the video, watch the video, because there's going to be lots going on in them. So it's just like 9 videos of loads of inspiration and something for everybody. So I'm really excited to be doing this one. So I've made this Christmas card here. So it's a pop-up card. It's a variation of like the multi-tiered pop-up card and the Paddington Bear one, but this is more slimline. Got this gorgeous snowflake acetate on the front, and then when you pull that down, because that's the front of the card, you have this pop-up, and you've got this lovely little scene with the robin and all like the festive birds. I've got some berries there, and then my sentiment Christmas greetings, and then on the back is your space to write your message. It all stands up really nicely. Now in the video I do make a drastic change, so do watch it because it's quite funny, and I know if I'd done this as a Facebook Live, lots of you would have probably been telling me do not do it, but I did it. So watch the video to see what it was that I did, and I'll show you everything that I've used as always. Check the description box below so you can see who to go and watch next, and join our blog hop, and hopefully you'll get lots of inspiration. So let's get started. So I'm using the In the Window DL Aperture die set, and that will be linked. And then the Papercraft RSPB Papercraft Special. This is issue 1. This one from the day of doing this video, this is £5. It's an absolute bargain. But you can also buy a bundle where you get this one with it, and that's a little bit more. But just this on its own, the kit, it's £5. So yeah, it's wonderful. Really is a lovely set. Okay, so I've gone ahead and coloured, and I've cut all the bits and pieces that I need. I'm going to go through the colouring in a moment. So first of all, I'll give you the measurements for the card itself. So you want a piece of 10.5 by 8.25. So that's the A4 width. Along the 10.5 side, you're going to score at 4, 5, 9 and 10. And then I've got this piece, which is 6.25 by 8.25, and along the 6.25 you're going to score at 1.25. Okay, that is all of, oh no, you need these 2 pieces. If you're going to do the internal pop-up piece, then you'll want these 2 strips, but you don't need this if not. So these are 1 by 8.25. Along the 1 inch side you're going to score at 1/2 inch all the way down. Okay, so that's all the scoring. Okay, you want to fold and burnish all of those pieces. Okay, so I've then used the die. So this is the DL Aperture die, and I've cut it out once in cardstock and then again in this wood grain. So that's how the die looks there. So you've got your cut lines and then score lines across the tops there. So when you run that through, you'll get your 3 flips. I've then done the same in the wood grain. So I just want to burnish those folds because I'm going to stick this one over the top. The weight of this is more of a paper, so it would have just been a bit flimsy on its own. But I'm just going to sit it right over the top and then just stick those down. So just stick it all over the top there, and it's just going to make it much stronger. But I just liked that wood grain effect, and I thought it looked quite nice against the white there. So at the moment when I stick that on there, obviously you've just got the white card, so I need to remove that. So I'm going to take that off for a minute. What I did is just lay this down in the section where you've got your 1/2 inch and 1 inch, so that's the bottom. Sit this in that section so you've got an equal border, like so. And then open up the flaps, and then with a pencil I just marked the left side, the right side, and then the tops of each section, and then the bottom of each section. I now know I'm going to cut just slightly in from those lines, so then it will all be hidden behind there, and then I've got my opening, and then we're going to pop the acetate. So you don't have to be too careful with this. I've got my self-healing mat below there, so I'm just going to pop kind of across in the middle. I could use my knife there to cut it all if need be, but I'm going to grab my scissors, and then I can just go out to the corner, but I want to just go past maybe by just under, about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, something like that. You just want it to be so you're not going to see any of that. And you don't need to be too neat with it because you're not going to see any of this. It's all going to get hidden. So I'm just cutting slightly past, and then I can just join up like so. Again, as long as you're past where you've done your pencil mark, then you're not going to see any of it. And now I can stick that over the top. Make sure again that I've got a nice frame. Just check that there's no cardstock coming into view there. But I think that's okay. So I don't need to add any glue here because there's nothing for these pieces to stick on. But I'm going to use the construction glue. Take a little bit longer to dry, but it will be nice and firm. So I'm just popping the glue right on the edge there. And then again, lay that down. So just give that a minute to dry. So next I'm going to grab these 2 strips, and I've also cut myself a piece of acetate. And basically we want to connect a side of each of these tabs to the acetate, so we can then connect that acetate inside there. So the other side, this part here, is going to be the tab. Because it's acetate, I'm going to use my red tape. So I'm just going to run, I'm actually going to run a strip along the bottom of the acetate. I'll give you the measurements for this in a moment. I think it was just the same. I think it's 4 by 8 1/4. It's definitely 8 1/4 length. Maybe just, oh actually no, it was 3 7/8. I remember now. 3 7/8 by 8 1/4. So I'm just going to run that along the top and the bottom. Take the backing off, and by just bringing it in slightly under the 4 inches means that when because by the time you stick this on this end and that on that end, it almost brings it back to the 4 inches wide. So it's good to just start a little bit under. But I'm just sitting this up to the score line. Make sure it runs right up to the ends there, like so. And then again, I find it best to do it this way. Make sure they're both up the same way, like so. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our panel, which is going to be able to go perfectly halfway because it's 1/2 inch wide and this is 1 inch. So it's going to sit at the back there. So it just means we can now start. You can add, I'm going to have pattern paper behind here, but then we can attach all of the, decoration on there, but it looks like it's floating and it's lifted. And in my case, I've got the birds so that it'll look like they're flying. So it's just, like I said, it doesn't have to be acetate. This could be just cardstock. You just, you could cut out this as well. I don't know. There's lots of ways that you can be creative with this. Now, I think I'm going to stick the top half in first, and then I'm going to, just trying to think what's going to be the easiest way, because if you're going to add the pattern paper, ideally you want it to cover the join. So I think I might add the pattern paper once I put it together, but it's up to you. So add your glue, and then I'm going to flatten it so it's just butted right up to that bottom score line. Make sure it meets the ends here, and then bring that down. I'm bringing that top 1 inch piece down as well, so it means it's going to stick to that. So now when I open it, you see it comes down right in the middle there of that piece. So now that next part's going to stick to the bottom of this. You can see how it's all going to go in like so. Okay, now mine is bowing still. I thought that would have been enough. I'm wondering whether actually to cut a bit more off. Now, because this is acetate, I can fold that back a minute. Acetate is actually very forgiving because you can peel that off if you do it the right way. You peel it just off the acetate and still get to use it again, because I just want to, well actually I'm going to end up trimming a bit more off that acetate. I would maybe take it down then so it is 3 3/4 rather than 3 7/8. Actually just lift the acetate end. There we go. Just comes off perfectly. I'll leave this in. Sometimes I cut these things out, but I think it's good to see how you can change this. So I'm just going to take another 1/8 of an inch off that, like so. And then I've got my tape still on there, so I don't need to worry about re-sticking it, but just make sure that it's stuck the same way. Again, I can do another little test. Fold that all around. There. You can see when that's in there, it's straight, which is much, much better. And then you want to add your glue to the bottom. I've just thought of a different way to put this together, which I think is easier. Okay, so I've got my glue on there. You're going to fold, so you've got the one and the back piece completely flush now. And lay that flat. So I've got my panels, the 1 inch and the half. Then you'll have the other 1 inch and the other panel on the back. So now when you bring that up, make sure it's dry. You might have to fold it back the other way. There we go. There you go. You can see we've got our acetate now running down there. Now I think I'm going to have this tab on the back, and that way I can slide, or I can stick this in now and you're not going to see any join, because this is my background paper. So I've cut this so it fits just within the frame there. So it would have been at 3 3/4 by 8. Yeah, 8 by 3 3/4. Again, I'm going to use my construction glue to stick this down. And the papers are all in the kit, they're inside the magazine. Okay, and then that is going to go around the back. So when you flip it up, you can see now we've got that nice background. So now I can add my glue to the inside of this tab, like so, and then you can just fold that over. Do it when it's flat, because then you know it's going to fold flat when it goes into the next piece. Okay, and now we've got our little pop-up shadow box there with the acetate in the middle. You can see that fits much better with that measurement when I cut it down. If you've got anything overhanging, you could probably still get in, although to be honest it's so minor I'm not even going to bother changing that. So next I'm going to stick this now right over the top of this one, so it's got that wood kind of bird box effect, and I'm going to use the construction glue, so I'll pop it on the back. Okay, next I've got this piece of acetate, which is 5 by 8 1/4, and it's a lovely, it's got the snow effect on it, and I thought, because this is the front of the card, I just thought that looks really nice over the wood grain. This is the Hunkydory. I got the pack of 50 last year. I used a lot of it for my own Christmas launch, and I know I'm going to use it again a lot this year, so it's lovely. If you like using acetate, then I think you'll enjoy using it on your Christmas cards. So I'm just adding couple of strips of red tape on this 1 1/4 tab. So, and then again, take the backing off, and then I'm just going to lay this, a bit easier if I butt it up to the score line, festival, make sure it's lined up inside the card, like so. And then I'm going to pop 2 more strips on here and then stick it to the card. I knew that was going to run out. Okay, well now this one you're going to stick with the fold at the bottom and towards this. You can add the glue onto the back of this at the same time if you want, but I'm going to do it in stages. I'm just sticking. If you haven't used acetate, because that's another thing, you don't have to have acetate. This could be cardstock if you want. Then this can be liquid glue. I'm just using the tape because obviously it sticks better. Okay, so you have something like that, and now I'm just going to add my glue all over this piece and get that stuck down. Just lay the whole thing flat, maybe just put something weighted on it for a minute so that can all dry. Okay, so you now have something like this. Now I'm going to pop some little strips on there so that when the card closes they don't go back in on themselves like that. I'm going to put little stoppers there, and I might stamp the word lift. I think that would look quite cute actually. So you've got this nice space here now to have your sentiment, which is where I'm going to have mine. But now we can start decorating it. I just find it easier to do it when you put it all together, and it's quite easy to be able to feed things in. But I've cut here and coloured all of the, well, I say all, most of the images in the stamp set. I'll just show you that one. So this is the stamp set that you get. There's toppers in there as well. You've got embossing folder. You've got the dies to cut the birds as well. Now I've coloured these using similar coloured inks. So I stamped this in brown and then coloured in. You kind of get that no line colouring. You can see here with the birds. So there's no black. I haven't used a black ink. I've stamped them with, I think they were all stamped with brown, a light brown. So you're able then to disguise it. Again, the same with these. I stamped it in green, a light green. And it gives you a completely different look. So it starts to make them almost look like you've drawn them rather than looking like stamped images. So you can see now how this will start to look when you stick things just on the acetate. Just think it gives it quite a nice look. So I might even have that across, maybe going into the other window as well. And then I thought, I've got him there, see he could, I need to add some other twigs and stuff around them, but that one, or maybe I have the birdhouse in the middle, kind of. This bird could then be flying. That looks nice. Make sure you can see what I'm doing now. Just fold those back. That bird can be flying onto the bird table. And then maybe the robin, got to have 3. He could already be maybe on it. Something like that. And then I just thought it'd be nice to have these pieces. Some of them can be stuck just behind this panel, but I can also stick things right on the back here as well. I mean, I'm probably not going to use all of this, but you can just start to get an idea on, you know, where I'm going with this and how it's going to look. Now I'm going to use foam pads to stick these onto here. It's already got dimensions, so a little bit more is not going to hurt. And then I'll probably start to decorate the fronts of these as well. Like I said, I'm going to put a little strip just along the bottom, so it just acts as a little stopper, and also it just gives the person a little instruction on what to do. But it's pretty obvious that you would lift these up to see, you know, what's behind them. And I'm going to have a little look at the sentiment. I'm going to do something embossed. I might do the sentiment from the stamp set, or I'll see what I've got in my stash. Okay, so that is the card finished. So I've added these, I've added a bit of white card behind, and then I've just got some paper from the pad. And then I've stamped Lift, which is from my newest Actions stamp set here. So just taking the Lift. And then you can see now underneath you've got these birds. But I'm thinking now to cut these off. If I was doing a Facebook Live now, I'd ask what people think I should do. Do I keep them or remove them? I like it both ways. That's how it looks when it's closed. I'm not going to have a sentiment because the idea is that it's displayed open and you've got Christmas greetings there. That one is from one of my ones as well. It's from the Christmas sentiments. They're just nice and bold. I thought it needed something that really stands out. It would make a really good shop window as well, this kind of card. So you could have like a Christmas scene, maybe some, I don't know, Christmas tree and some cakes or something. But something's making me want to cut these off. So I think I'm going to cut them off because you can see how it looks with or without. And it's quite a nice way to just show you a different way to use the die. But it looks so good. I love having that acetate there. Really does, it just creates such a nice effect. So I'm going to attempt to cut these. I like to keep you all on your toes. I know some of you, let me know in the comments, should I have left them on or taken them off? I'm hoping I can cut these away pretty easily. So let's give it a go. I did it. What I did is I just cut it up to about there and then I folded it underneath. So it's actually tucked up inside. So it is really neat. I just think that looks really nice. So either way, I did like both ways, but I don't know. I'm really, really pleased with this one. I think it looks wonderful. Any scene will work in this. And obviously you can just cut, you know, I've shown you a different way now. You could just have a piece and then you cut your apertures into it. So have a play around. It's a really nice little die set because you can obviously change it up like this. I mean, I could snip away the little bits there. That'd be quite easy to do. You might see if I succeeded or not, then it'll be in the photos. I should have maybe taken a photo of it with the flips so I can put that on my blog, but I'll probably just take a photograph of a still from this video. But there you have it. So that's how it looks when it's folded. So this will fit into a 5 by 8 1/4. So it's a slightly odd size because it was that slimline kind of die that I was using. And I just think it's quite nice, you know, to have that area to have your message. So I hope you've enjoyed this card style from me today. It's been really nice actually to get the Christmas products out and make a festive card. So this is the start now for me for Christmas in July. So there'll be some more Christmas tutorials coming. Make sure you head to the links in the description box because it will give you the link for the next blog that you can go and check out. All of the people that are participating in the blog will also be listed below along with the products that I've used. Like I said, as I'm recording, this magazine's only a £5. And it's an all year round one, so I think you'll get lots of use out of it. And I'll have some other tutorials popping up now. I'll have the 5 by 7 version that I've done, which is the tiered pop-up. You might want to watch that, and I'll have something else similar as well that you might want to see next. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll be back again very soon. Take care. Bye.